Hey, everybody. Good afternoon and welcome to the Masterclass. This is Pete and Nick with Roofr, and we are happy to be at it again here today, running through the Roofr platform and introducing you guys to some new stuff. And, we wanted to shift gears a little bit today. We're going to cater a little bit more to our active users and cover some tips and techniques to get the most out of the platform. But to start off with, Nick, I just want to talk about, now as we're going into the slower season, we're going into the winter time, right? It's about to be show season come first of the year, IRE coming up. I know that's been the big talk here, and getting back to that. And what I really want to talk about though is like now's the time to evaluate, right? Like let's evaluate the platforms we used all year. Let's evaluate some possible new platforms, and just want to kind of get your take. And I'll throw my 2 cents in there too, as what do you want to look for? Like, hey, I'm looking for a platform. Maybe I'm looking for a platform to, better measure. Maybe I'm looking, a better way to handle my measurements. Maybe I'm looking for a better way for my team to quote, maybe I'm just looking for, some things to improve my tech stack, and what should I be looking for? What would be your suggestions?
Yeah, it's a great question. And we hear from roofers, like everybody who's watching every day, and everybody's looking for something a little bit different. But every time you come into a slow season, back when I used to be helping running out my dad's company and stuff, we are always looking at seeing what you did that year and what you're looking to achieve the next year. You really got to take a look at what your goals are, making sure that they're attainable and try to hit for them, and find out what has stopped you from reaching that goal this year. So a good way of looking at it, and what I hear from a lot of contractors is find your pain points. What is slowing you down? What can be improved on, and what can be improved on with something that you can purchase. So whether it could be as simple as like going back to like, I need to get a new truck. I need to do that. Now in the age that we're in now, a lot of it's I need a new tech stack. So depending on what you're using, find out what you love about it and what you don't like about it, and try to weigh the pros and cons on it. When you're looking into it, I could talk to the fact that we spoke with one of our guys spoke with a company out of Green Bay, Wisconsin recently. And precisely what they said is that they're looking to kind of streamline the process and make things easier, make things quicker. They were getting out around 15 quotes per week in their company, and growing out that side. And they want to make it a little bit easier because right now they get bogged down at around 15, but they still have more people coming in. So what you got to look at is efficiency with your product, whether it be just the measurements or the proposals. How long does it take you to do these? And how much time is your team spending on building out a proposal? From lead to close, what is that process, and how can we shrink that time? And that's something that we at Roofr are really aware of. Like, we are built by roofers for roofers, and we really look at that time of normally getting that lead by email or phone, setting up a time to go out and measure it, coming back to the office with the photos, building out that quote, whether it's your Excel sheet, your Word document, whether you're building out in your CRM, and sending it out to the customer. How do you shrink that time so that you could use that other free time now to build more relationships, build more jobs, quote more, or spend it more with your family, whatever the case may be?
Yeah, I think those are all great points. I think that, when we look at our tech stack, that's one thing that you want to keep in mind is we want these tools. There's so many of them out there, and there's so many things to look at nowadays, and it can be overwhelming. Mm-hmm. Right? You want to pick things that fit the way your company is operating, that are going to streamline your process, like you said, that are going to reduce the number of steps. You don't want to get in a situation where you start employing all of this technology and it starts creating more work ultimately, yeah. Right? It's creating more steps. Maybe you're having to transfer information from one platform to another and it's not seamlessly happening. Maybe it's a lot of manual labor, and things like that. Like, you want to take all that stuff into account. And like, one of the things that I used to always tell people is, when you look at tech too, make sure that it's tech that can grow with you, right? As your company grows, as your company scales, as you add more people to the mix, as you improve your own process, that all of those things are handled by that tech, right? And whatever that platform is that you need to employ, whether that be a new CRM, a new measurement tool, whatever it is, make sure that that tool can accommodate where you want to be, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, right? The worst case scenario to get in, I think, when it comes to tech is being in a situation where you employ tech, you take all the time to get everybody up to speed on it. You spend all this time working it into the process just to turn around and find out that it's not going to be sufficient enough and you have to switch. Right. And that's a nightmare, and I think that, so many times I've experienced with contractors is that's exactly what they run into. They employ tech based on a decision they make right now. Hey, this fits what we're doing right now. So they employ tech and then they realize 6 months, a year down the road, we've outgrown this platform. Like it doesn't have what we need anymore. So, take that into account when you're looking at next year's tech, right? Or even the tech you're using now. Is it going to be sufficient for you next year, 2 years from now? Or is it best to make a change now and get on a platform that's evolving, a platform that's adding new features, a platform that's constantly updating along with you and your company? And I think, that's one thing that at Roofr, I can applaud the team has done very well and continues to do very well, here. So it's just something to keep in mind. You want tech that's going to grow with you so that you can use it long term. For you guys that have joined us here today, just to mention too, we have Matt Radford with us back in the saddle here. And, what I want you guys to do is feel free to throw any questions you have or any comments that you have into the chat or the Q&A, one or the other place, preferably the chat. Matt will be monitoring a chat as well as us so that, he can answer any questions, and then we can, work with you guys here. Think of it just like a big kind of group training session here and take advantage of us. So let's dive a little bit into it, Nick. Let's talk about, Roofr now specifically, right? Like we've kind of covered, tech and where we're at, for the year. So let's talk about Roofr. Let's say that I have Roofr already. Let's say I am a subscriber. Maybe I just subscribed, right? I'm new to it. Want to get the most out of the platform in the upcoming year. Let's dive into it. Let's start with measurements and just talk briefly about what are some of the tips and tricks that you would say can take those measurements from Roofr and really set us apart from the crowd.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that we've been able to kind of like separate that and make it kind of really set up for that for you as a contractor. And one of the things that we would like to take a look at as well is it's not a one size fit all. So we have multiple products here. So what I'm going to do is just quickly share my screen to break it down a little bit. But measurements for different people are going to do different things. We want to be sure that we're able to assist in any way, shape, or form that you might have. So when we jump into this screen, and we'll let that pop up here for a second. Here we go. Great. So we have everything here, and we have our Roofr reports, which is our flagship product. That is a $10 report that comes back to you within 24 hours. Now, the beauty about those who are watching that are subscribed, or someone that's watching later who might be looking to subscribe, is that on the subscription, that 24-hour report improves dramatically. You get the 24 hours drop down to 6 on the Pro or 3 on the Premium, as well as access to material calculations, as well as your logos on your report. So branding that report, branding your company, and getting out there. So that's one great thing. The other thing that we do have as well is our DIY reports. And the DIY reports are able to really, really help out and expand on a lot of things. And you're able to do high definition imagery. So if you want to draw it out, especially if you're looking at maybe a quick square, you're looking for just a portion of the roof. So you're able to provide a option for repairs. Maybe you're focusing on one area, whether it's a storm, anything that happened, could quickly measure that out. And we also have free satellite images, and even better, drone uploads and blueprints. So I just really want to quickly jump into the DIY. Just for a quick glance, this is one that I've just done in the last 5 minutes. Before this, took me about 7 minutes to do, front to end. Really, really quick and accurate. And the cool thing about Roofr is that you can start to do layers rather. So with the layers, what you're able to do with it is make sure that you're not missing any of these overhangs. You're not missing any of the square footage. You're not missing any of the flashing that needs to be there. A lot of the DIY tools out there don't allow you to do the overlapping, and we allow that on this end. So you're making sure that you're getting the most accurate quote for you there. Able to also delete facets, so skylights and chimneys and such. You're not going to get that square footage around there, and be able to really dial into that and change up some stuff. So using this to your advantage is going to make it very, very simple, and be able to really increase your efficiency. So for example, if this back pie is what you need to take a look at, you can delete those edges and just have that square footage of that back pie. You know the ridges, you know the hips and everything there, and you can transport that directly into the quote. The other cool thing is the blueprints part and the drone. So if you're in an area that doesn't have great imagery, invest in a drone. It's going to really blow your customers away. First off, you're going to see as like a futuristic roofing company coming out there. And you could upload a photo of the house and put it right into Roofr, so you're not having to measure every little bit. You just set for a one item for a line item for scale, and you're good to go. That also works with blueprints. So when you get blueprints, the winter is a season where you get a lot of builders reaching out to you saying, this is what I'm planning on building. Can you get me some quotes? So you can get out something like this, a straight blueprint. The beauty about it already has a pitch on there. Usually there is a line item that you could set for scale. As you can see on this side, it says 74 inches, and it's just tracing. And you can build something out like this. This took me about 10 minutes to do. And I have a blueprint out here that I'm able to get into a full report, pass it along back to the builder as well, talking about increasing that branding and that relationship with someone. You can do this right from here, and it is free. So that's some of the cool things that you could start off with measurements, right, Pete?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things to note here, and one of the things that really I think sets this platform apart, is that we've created a suite of measurement tools, right? It's not an all or nothing situation. It's not a, pay us for a measurement and that's it, right? That's your only option. Or, just a DIY tool. Like, we've built you the tools to really tackle any situation, right? Whether that be a situation with a really cut up roof, I want to order a report and get it back in a certain amount of time, whether it's, a simple roof, or maybe it's a last minute appointment and I want to just sketch it really quick. I can do that. Maybe it is new construction and I want to access the blueprint and be able to pull my measurements right off of that. Like, you've got the ability to do all of those in one product right here. You're not going to be scattered across different platforms trying to pull this stuff off. It's all right here. It's easy to use. Like you said, it's the most cost-effective platform on the market, 100%. And no matter which direction you go, whether you're doing it yourself or whether you're paying us to pull a report for you and measure, but I just love that it's a full suite of products that allow us to measure in any situation.
Yeah, and it really, really shows the versatility. And we know that roofers are always on the run. I always like kind of talking about a story when I'm talking about examples. We have a couple contractors, one specifically that I'm thinking about, shout out to Cody, out in Houston, where he likes to go out. He has his laptop in his truck, goes out to a house and has his laptop there, goes up on the roof, takes a quick picture, sits and gets an idea of the lay of the land, sits in his truck, draws out the report like you just saw me doing, and one click over to proposals, and able to shoot out a proposal to that customer in seconds, upload the photos into them as well with annotations and descriptions, and go up to the front door. The customer really hasn't even seen him yet. And not only does he have a full measurement report for them, but also has a proposal ready to e-sign as well. So with this suite of tools, he's able to do that. More specifically, if he Google Maps it beforehand going out there, and it's a cut up pig, like it's just hips, ridges, and everything, and he knows that it's going to be a problem to draw it out himself, it's not a problem because it's only $10 and he's on a premium subscription. So he gets it in 3 hours, just clicks that button, does another house. By the time he's done, that reports in his system and he's able to shoot it out for a proposal. So that suite of tools is really giving you the power to do anything. If you really wanted to go crazy, you can get a picture of the side of the home and actually get siding measurements and window measurements from here as well. It's as simple as just tracing it out and setting scale. So you're able to get something out there as well. So It doesn't stop at roofing. We know that a lot of you out here and watching this are not just a roofing only company. Sometimes you do roofing and siding, you do soffit, fascia, troughs, anything like that. We're able to really kind of facilitate that with our tool that is fit for all with DIY and roofer reports.
Yeah, that's a great thing to note, because I think that is something that, when we think of measurement tools, we traditionally think that they are for the roof only, right? With the exception of maybe one or two. But, so it's definitely nice to be able to showcase the fact that, just by having the ability to upload these pictures, now you've turned this roof measurement tool into a tool that can measure just about anything on the house, right? If you have, as long as you have a picture of it. So that's a very good thing to note. That's definitely a tip that I think is missed on a lot of people that are currently using the product.
Yeah, it's going to really help you out and kind of help you scale the business. And the beauty about this, when you're on a subscription, especially that premium subscription that most of the people that we have are on it, you could one click and send it directly to a proposal and helps out. Another cool thing is, while we're getting into the winter season, I know a lot of you guys are above that snow line, so are facing winter like myself and Pete do, and Radford does as well. We have a bunch of different options out there. When you're looking at canvassing a neighborhood, during the winter, it's a little bit slower. You're looking at some stuff. You look at some areas that you did in the fall that had older shingles on there, had a little bit of deterioration, and you notice a bunch of them in the neighborhood had it too. Well, here's a good opportunity with our DIY tool to map that area out, measure each of those homes, build a proposal on your downtime, and either print it off as a PDF and drop it off to those people's house. Say, I was on that house right over there. I did that roof. You can ask them for a referral. But here we are, and we're able to provide you with a quote if you're interested in getting it done next year. Let's jump you in for an early bird special, and there's your book of business for the spring, ready to rock and roll.
Yeah, that's great advice. I think that, I had a conversation not too long ago with the guys from Hail Trace, and that was really what the conversation was about, is that there really should be no off season, right? There should be no downtime. Obviously it's nice to have some slower time, especially if we've had a really busy season, but at the same time, like, we should be prepping for next year. And these tools allow you to do that. A lot of times we think like, hey, a measurement tool is just for when I'm in the heat of the moment here and I'm, measuring roofs, and not for off-season use. But that's not the case. Like, there's a perfect example, like what Nick just brought up, of where I can use this to essentially virtually canvas a neighborhood, right? I'm measuring ahead of time. I'm creating proposals. I'm going into the season and coming to these customers completely prepared. I'm not knocking on a door and saying like, hey, can I do a roof inspection? Like, I'm done. My roof inspection is essentially done. Like, I'm ready to make a presentation here and possibly sign a deal. And I haven't even set foot on their property yet. So it's a great way to kind of get a head start on the season. Like, why wait until, March, April, and then try to build a book of business when we could start scheduling stuff now for when it thaws out?
Exactly. And then when you get you have the material estimate page where you're going to have the calculations of the 5 major manufacturers in North America: ICO, Certainty, GAF, Owens Corning, BP, for not just the shingle total, but the starters, the ice and water, synthetic, capping, valleys, and drip edge. It's going to speed up your process that much more. Think about a time where you get a job, it's sold, and you got to get the material order ready to send out to the supplier. Now you can just highlight what you're using here, send it out, highlight the waste that you're looking at, the 15% waste. Cool. I need 109 bundles. I need 4 bundles of starters. I need 7 rolls of ice. I need 4 rolls. And you could really customize that to make sure that what you, not customize it, but you could really localize this and send it out to the supplier to make your entire flow easy. When we started this conversation, we're talking about making sure tech is able to grow with you, and something that's going to help you shrink the amount of time that you're focusing on stuff. The tools that we provide you here at Roofr, between the proposals, the measurements, material calculations, are not only going to help you stand out from your competition and help you plan for the future, but shrink down that time and help you grow along with everything else.
Yeah, I think that's great. Great advice, great insight and use of this product, right? It's not just a measurement tool. It can kind of help us to facilitate the other things as we move on down through the process. So let's talk, Nick. Let's transition now into proposals, right? Let's talk about how we've taken these measurements. Now we're going to roll into our proposals. Maybe I've been a pen and paper guy that's now using Roofr. Maybe I'm coming from another platform. Maybe my CRM had some functionality that allowed me to create a proposal. Let's talk about, because this tool is no slouch. We've done an incredible job in-house of building a phenomenal proposal tool for a number of different reasons. Some of this stuff that we've been able to add just in the short time since we released this in May has been unbelievable. The strides that we've made in making this an extremely robust tool. Let's talk about some of those facets, some of those little things that have really make this tool stand out and are really going to make me stand out in the field when I'm using this for my proposals.
Yeah, we're getting into a season, getting into the time frame where everybody else is starting to build out proper quotes. So do a little exercise. Just think about your competition in your area. How many of them are having printed quotes? How many of them are talking to the homeowner, bringing samples? And how many of them are getting out a nice built out proposal like what you're seeing right here? I could probably answer that the number of paper proposals are shrinking. The number of printed out ones are increasing, but the number of quotes that look like something like this are probably slim to none. This is something that you could build out in seconds with Roofr, and I'm showing you a wildly robust quote here, but something that you can build out with Roofr in seconds. And talking about giving good, better, best, multi-option proposals, and giving the education and transparency to the customer that they want. They're going to go online. They're going to research the products that you're offering and find out what they think is best. So why not give them a multitude of options to take a look at and provide them with the education that they want? Something like this, where you have the brochures that you would normally hand out to them built into the proposal and showing them what is able to be done to their roof and where their warranties lie. And that's what they're going to be really looking for, and something that we are able to help you out with and go. So you might not be the cheapest in the town. I know most of us don't care to be the cheapest in the town. But what you can do is say, I might not be the cheapest, I might not be the most expensive, but I can guarantee you that I'm going to give you the best quality, the expertise, the warranty, and the peace of mind. And at the end of the day, you can't put a price on that peace of mind.
Yeah, I'll tell you along those lines, one of the best things that I ever had a roofer say to me is, he was talking about his business in comparison to his competition. And he said, we are probably one of the highest priced roofers in our area. He said, and we 100% own it. He said, what we do is we go in and we tell the customer flat out, we are one of the highest priced roofers that you're going to see. And this is why, right? We use better quality products. We have better service. We're going to be a better long lasting roofer for you. You know what I mean? If you have issues down the road, we're going to be there for you. Like, we're developing a relationship here. And I thought that was tremendous advice, right? Like, don't always go in with the idea of like, how can I just bare bones this and sneak by and, offer discounts and be the cheapest guy out there, because that's the only way I'm going to win jobs. Own it. You know what I mean? If you feel like your company has better quality, better service, whatever the case may be, own that and take it to the bank. It's going to win you more jobs in the end because you're confident, you're portraying that confidence. And I think one of the things that I love about this Roofr proposal is it really does that. It's very professional looking. You can go with confidence to a customer with this, because of how it looks and how it feels and how it functions, and I love the flexibility of it. Like when you talk about proposals and proposal softwares, you talk about like a lot of them are templated. A lot of them can only handle one type of proposal. Maybe I want to use something, but it's forcing me to be a line item estimator. And I'm not really a line item guy. I'm a lump sum or a scope of work type of estimator. Maybe I'm a good, better, best kind of guy. I want to offer the customer options. Maybe, like you said, maybe I'm a multi-trades guy. Like maybe we're not just quoting roofs. Maybe we're quoting gutters, windows, siding. A lot of guys do that. Most guys do that, to be honest.
Mhm.
So here's a product that can handle any of those situations. You know what I mean? I can build out quotes for all of those, right? I don't have to quote in a specific way just because I'm using Roofr. Like I can quote exactly how I want to quote and do it in a professional, showy, flashy. Let's be honest. I mean, this is a nice looking proposal, right? In comparison to what you normally see coming out of other softwares in the industry. They're very bare bones. They're very straightforward. They're essentially a glorified Excel spreadsheet a lot of times, and not that there's anything wrong with that, but it is what it is, right? And when you're talking about dealing with your competition and everybody's quoting that way, why not be the guy that stands out and comes to the table with this quote that just blows the customer away and really looks completely different than the competition?
Yeah, and what you said was really interesting, how you're saying that this guy is the most expensive and he owns it. Well, not only own it, show it. Don't say I'm the best out there. I'm going to give you the best service and then hand them a piece of carbonite 3-piece paper, because then they're going to be like, what the F? Like, what are we doing here? Like, I get it and I understand it, but like, it's 2021, soon to be 2022. Where am I seeing this? Sure, you might have that nice office in town, but why not show them something like this that's going to give them the breakdown of everything? You can see the descriptions that are there, the pricing, the interactive experience, everything in one spot. Show that you're not only tell them that you're a better than the rest, but show them why they should be giving you that money for for their business. Roofing is not cheap. It's not cheap, and it's not a sexy purchase. People do not want to spend money on this. But when you're going to be forking out 5K, 10K, 20K for a roof, you want to feel comfortable. You want to see that value that you're going to get for spending that dollar amount. And when everybody and their mother are going to their door and saying, yeah, I'm using the best shingles. Yeah, I got the best service. Yeah, I got the best warranties. When everything else is apples to apples, something's got to stand out. And it could be your sales skills, but why don't you let your sales presentation add to that too? Because I can guarantee you somebody else that out there has got good sales skills too. Let's go a step above and provide them with the warm fuzzy feeling that they're looking for writing that big check to you. Get something like this that could really help it out. And not only that, but building something like this, Pete, it's not hard to do with us, is it?
No, and that's a huge point because I think traditionally in this industry, to get something like this, it's been a very in-depth process, with a long lead time to get it set up, you know, uh, a lot of energy, a lot of time, something that had to traditionally be done 100% in the off season because that was the only time that I could devote enough attention to it to get it set up, to get my team trained on it. And we've flipped the script completely on that. You know what I mean? Like we've gone to a product here that is, you could easily make a mid-season change to this. Like if you not like what you're doing in the middle of your busy season, you could switch overnight more or less and make this product work. I mean, we've made it that simple to get started, to get set up. And then you just evolve it from there, and it's so easy to standardize what you're doing with this type of setup, which is what I love about it. If you're talking about, maybe you're a small to medium sized business and you're talking about, hey, how do we scale? How do we take it the next step? We're going from 1 million to $5 million this year. We're going from 2 salesmen to 5 salesmen, right? Like, or maybe more, right? So, the goal here, obviously, everybody wants to grow their business, right? Like that's ultimately what the hope is for everybody when you start a business. It's products like this that allow you to do that by being simple, by being easy to implement, by being efficient enough to standardize the way you do things and allow you to put yourself in a situation where you can easily train people, you can easily bring people up to speed, and you can have a business that operates on its own because everybody is able to do it the same way, right? It's not a situation anymore where I've got to hire a guy that's got 25 years of roofing experience just so he can look at a roof and quote it, right? I could hire the 20-year-old kid that is behind the counter at Chick-fil-A now and teach him in a weekend how to use this product because it's literally pulling a measurement and applying it to a template that I've built, right? That's pretty much it, And so I guess dive into it a little bit, Nick, and just show them how easy it is to really set this up and how easy it is to manipulate things in here.
Yeah, it's super super easy just to get moving. As you were talking there, I was able to add a new item to my process, show how I was able to search something very quickly if I need to change the price. We know that in the past year and a half, 2 years, we've been seeing crazy rapid price changes from our suppliers with everything that's going on. So it's really easy to search something. It's really easy to build something when you first come into this tool, or even if you've been in it for a while and you want to change up suppliers because you know that it's kind of difficult to get, say, an Atlas from your supplier at the current time, but they seem to have a lot of Owens Corning. Well, you don't want to import every new item. It's going to take long. It's going to feel rough. Well, a couple things you can do with the import items button here. You could upload a roofing system or a CSV that you get directly from the supplier. The roofing system thing is one of my favorites. I know, Pete, you love it too. You can click on this and it will show you the 6 major manufacturers in your area in North America: Atlas, BP, Certainty, GAF, ICO, and Owens Corning. And say that your supplier has a surplus of OC, not a surplus of Atlas. You can click on that, and we're going to be able to import the 5 major items that you're going to need for a complete roofing system with all the coverages in there within seconds. You could also click on and click off any of these to see which ones you need. But what it's going to do is allow you to upload your catalog and get going quickly. This is when Pete's talking about you could do this in mid-season. Really easy to make the flip and just add it into your catalog like that. Then you could have your templates built out and really create something that is really customizable for you. So to make something from scratch, to make something from that you have that's built in, you're able to really speed up the process and build out a multitude of items, whether it's a multi-item select, whether it's a good, better, best, whether it's a one-off item. Anything that you need there is in one spot. And when we're talking about growing, one of the good ways of growing is being able to offer multiple products, upgrades. So not only a good, better, best, but maybe you're saying, hey, upgrade to the gutters for this price, new soffit and fascia for this price, new skylight for that. And with our system, you're able to do a multi-item select and build it out from like in seconds. So I'd be happy to quickly show just a quick run through from start to finish on how quick and easy this is. So I'm just going to jump back to the measurements. And Pete, why don't you tell a story about how we can get this moving from start to finish?
Yeah, I think that, coming from a CRM background like I did, I know how tough it is to make a change in your products, right? In your platform. If something's failing you, how much of a headache it is to make that mid-season switch or even that off-season switch. I mean, let's be, frank about it. I mean, if I've got to, make a switch even in the off season, now I'm talking about having to retrain my workforce to use a different product. And, so many times, like that's one of the biggest complaints or one of the biggest, challenges that you face as a contractor is like making that change. Is it really going to be worth it? Like you're constantly weighing that option of, am I making the right decision moving to another platform, and we take that completely out of the equation here, right? Like to be able to go from, being a measurement puller, let's say, maybe you tried us out and you like the measurements that you're getting from Roofr, being able to take that and transition into a proposal like we just showed you, that's that caliber of proposal. I mean, we're talking about, just full blown, beautiful proposals that you would get from a dedicated proposal software, right? And the idea here is we want to be that tool for you guys to use for the whole entire sales process. That's what we're moving towards as a company, right? Like we want you guys to use us for the whole entire thing, right? We want your sales guys to live here, right? And that's the goal. And this is how we're going to start it. We're going to set you guys up for success by making this super easy to implement, super easy for your team to learn it. I mean, I could teach somebody how to use this in like probably 30 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
Give me your sales team for 30 minutes and they'll be quoting with it this afternoon. Like it's that easy to learn. It's just our team has done a fantastic job of simplifying the way it operates, but without ever sacrificing the amount of tools that it has. Right. That's what I love about it. Like we still have everything that you're going to see in any other platform, but we have it in such a simplified manner that it almost seems too good to be true here, how easily it works. right? Like you said, we have all these options of different types of proposals we can build. And you see Nick's just cruising through it, building a multiple option proposal, which I love, by the way, which is a great way to get your guys out there and give them the ability to upsell. They can go out, hey, I'm here to quote your roof, but by the way, while I'm here, I noticed that you need siding. I noticed that you need windows. Let me just go ahead and throw that on the quote. Even if they don't use us now, maybe they'll come back later. And now they already have that quote in hand, right? So we've left them with something that they could use later on. Not only that, we've become their roofer of choice or their contractor of choice. If down the road they choose to go with siding, they choose to go with windows, they choose to go with gutters, something that they know we do, right? We're constantly in the back of their mind because they're like, oh, they already quoted me a price for that. I know it's not a cold call situation where we're starting from scratch. Every time I want to do a project on my house, I can look back at that quote and say, hey, I know, Nick's Roofing gave me a quote for the gutters. Let me go back there and take a look at it and see and call those guys up because it's time to put gutters on the house now. Right. So it's just a great way to sell. If you are someone who currently is just doing straight up roofing or just quoting, maybe in our product or another product, and that's all you're able to quote is the roofing part of it, keep that in mind. This is a great way to kind of extend that conversation between your sales team and that customer and give them some options as some other things that they can upsell to that customer.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because you could look at this making it super, super easy. When I just made a really robust quote for the heck of it, because while you were talking there, we're able to calculate the quantities, map everything towards it, and build this all out. So now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 options to choose from, just to show you the robustness of it, along with all these brochures, terms and conditions, and everything. For fun, let's add in the photos too. So a lot of people out there, whether you're an insurance company or a retail company, you like to add photos of the roof to explain a little bit of a story to that homeowner too. If they're looking to buy something, you know that they're going to want to see proof of it. They're not jumping up on that roof. They're not doing that stuff there. So we're going to show them a little bit of options here. We'll take a look at some of these photos that we have and build them in. And show them what we're dealing with so they can see exactly what needs to be done and provide that transparency and that education to the customer. So you could be sitting at their kitchen table with a PDF or an iPad or your laptop. You could be doing this over the phone, over Zoom, whatever way you want to get this moving. You're able to speed up that process from start to finish. My internet's a little bit slow here, so you can see that it's kind of lagging on it. Let me just make sure. I'll just redo this here. But you're able to really upload everything, annotate things, really build it out so you can show all the different features here and see what's going on. And the one cool thing, like Pete was saying, having those other options in, whether they pick them or not, they're going to remember that and know that when they have to come back to someone and they are looking to get this stuff done now, they have the ability to do so real quick by just reaching out to you and saying, hey, this is something that I want to look at here. So you can have this drawn out, say flange, my keyboard is off, flange, replacement in the valley, pop it in and save it. So let's preview and send this and kind of show about the options, the tips and tricks that you could use with this tool to build something out. We have this one here. I'll just say no underlayment. I know that's not what we're showing here, but it's a good option to have in here. Save that as well. And you could have 4 per page, 2 per page. But now that we have this super robust quote out, I just want to go back to one thing and make sure on the details page that we have this multi-option select on. And what this is going to allow the customer to do is pick and choose what they want on the roof, whether it's a multi-option select for different products, whether it is a multi-option on the products, whether it's a combo of things, whether it's one thing. You want to be able to show them how much this is going to cost and what we're going to do. So as this is creating this robust proposal, this is really fitting into that entire process that you're saying there. So I'm just going to send this off to the customer. I'm going to say, please sign I've never seen that icon sign here. I'm a roofer, not a tech guy. So sometimes I click on things and didn't realize there's a reading list button here, and get that all moving here. So what we'll do in the meantime, I'll open up, see what it looks like here. When I click on view proposal, open it right up. So from the customer, they'll see your logo there, a little bit of summary that you could put in there. You have 10,000 characters to choose from, and be able to take a look at the proposal and sign off on it in seconds. So put yourself in the customer's shoes. You're at home. You just talked to this roofer. You gave a call. You've heard about them around town. You know that they've done some stuff in there, and you get a proposal sent to you that looks like this, like we showed before, with all the items in there, the descriptions, their name, and they can click on sign now and get it going in seconds. So let's just open up. This is a good, better, best, where they can select one of the options and it's going to show them the price, and they could specify the shingles and options that they need there. What I really want to show is what we just built out, which was this one. And this is that crazy multi-option one. So like Pete said, you want to upgrade, you want to grow your revenue, you want to be able to make sure that you're helping out the customer there. This is something that's really going to do that. So I'm going to let this load here for a second. But Pete, like, talk about when you're trying to hit those goals, and you're talking at the beginning of the call, at the call of the masterclass, about what do you need and what's going to help you grow. This is not going to be a system where it has all the bells and whistles that you'll never use. So you're only using like 3% of the tech stack that's there. This is everything that you need, and it's going to help you get to that next level.
Yeah, exactly. Keep in mind, just because you aren't a good, better, best quoter right now, maybe you're just a lump sum guy. Like, that's how you like to quote. Do it in Roofr, use it. And then, let's say it evolves into a situation where you're like, hey, we want to start to add some other trades. We want to, start to go that route of maybe giving the customer some options. We're dealing with a lot of, knowledgeable customers. We definitely are seeing in the industry a switch in the type of customer, right? These customers are more tech savvy. They're younger, they're on their phones and their computer more. They Google stuff. They are more educated about what they're buying and who they're buying it from. So it changes the way we quote, right? And, options are going to become a big part of that, because they're going to understand that there are options out there, right? I think traditionally in the past, it was just like you said, it's not a sexy purchase. I don't really buy a roof unless I absolutely need one. So if a roofer came in and told me this is what you need, I just said, okay, went with it. It didn't matter. I didn't know anything about roofing shingles or anything like that. Like traditionally that's been the case. I'm a perfect example. My neighbor had a roof put on his house not too long ago. And the contractor came in and told him he was GAF Master Elite and he was going to put Timberline shingles on his house. And my neighbor came to me and he's like, what does all this GAF Master Elite stuff mean? He's like, is this good? Like, is this guy a good roofer? You know what I mean? And that's the type of customer you're dealing with, right? So, and I think we're moving a little bit away from that, into a more educated customer. So having the ability to say, hey, here's the options, here's why these products are better, better warranties, better, materials, whatever the case may be, so giving them those options is a great idea. But if you don't quote that way right now, maybe you plan to quote that way down the road, you could do it all in here. And like Nick said, you're not sacrificing anything. Like, you're not, utilizing the platform and just like only utilizing half of it. Like, you're still getting the most out of the platform because it's catering to how you guys are doing things. But know that those other options are there. That ability to grow, that ability to scale is there if you guys ever need it.
And scaling is the big thing. You're a fisherman, Pete. What's that line? Teach a man to fish. It's that whole thing with the customers. If you could show someone how to do it, or you could teach them. People like to learn, especially nowadays. People like to be educated and informed on their things. So we just went through this crazy robust proposal that has 7 options and everything. This is what's so cool for the customer standpoint and for you to allow you to sell more, grow, and stuff like that. We got 6, 7, 8 options here. So if somebody wants just the GAF, okay, it's $6,600. They want to add in that skylight. All right. Flashing replacement. Sure. Don't want the skylight. I want the sun tunnel. That's fine. You can see this changing in real time. It is pretty crazy and able to do there. And thank you, Matt. Give someone a fish and feed them for a day. Teach them how to fish and feed them forever. I was way off. I was teaching them all that stuff. So it's going to really show you how to do this. So look at how you could really lean into this and make sure that you're getting that sale no matter what. You're possibly upselling and also putting a bug in their ear for the future. This is a super interactive way to see what you're dealing with. If you're a financing contractor, you know that it's they get their financing up to a certain amount, and now the customer can see, I have a $30,000 limit. Let's see how close I can get to that $30,000 limit. Cool. I could have a skylight. I could have a sun tunnel. I could replace the flashing. I could eavesdrop, soften fascia, all under that amount. If they're a little bit above, then they know that they got to switch it up. They could do that right here. They could specify all the information that they need, the colors that they want, anything like that. Sun tunnel in the back. There we are. And the skylight in the front. Black shingles, gray aluminum, all that information all in one spot. And the beauty is no longer do you have to go out there, get them to sign the paper in person. Maybe I know that I used to do this because the person's like a little bit further out of my way, didn't want to go out there and drive and get it signed. They don't want to drive to me and drop it off. I would say take a picture of the contract with your phone and text it over to me. Then you get the people who aren't tech savvy. This is as simple as can be. And you could walk them through with it, whether you're at the kitchen table, you're in person, you're over the phone, you're on Zoom. No matter what, you have this all set up and it's easy to do this. So these are some of the kind of tips and tricks that you can do and build this out with it. Pete, do you have anything else that you want to see? Maybe a repair option, anything like that?
No, I think I think you've seen how flexible this platform really is. One of the things that I wanted to note when you were talking about photos earlier, it came to my mind, the ability to upload photos, and also we have the ability to add a custom cover image to this proposal as well. So, if you're on site and you take a picture of the customer's house, you can upload that cover image, and what that really does is it really brings it home for the customer. Not only now do I have this beautiful presentation, right, that has all of the sales material in there, that has my, color options. So I'm not having to go with a color board and have them select, what color they want. All of those tools are in there, but now I've personalized it as well. Right now I've really brought it home for the customer because, hey, that's my house on the cover of that. That's pretty awesome. You know what I mean? Hey, that's, that's my, that's my roof. I don't get up on my roof much, horrible thing about me. I'm terrified of heights. I'm not going up on my roof. So you go up there and you take a picture of the damage, like that really brings it home for me. Okay. Yeah, I definitely do need a new roof. You know what I mean? Like that's really going to show me why you guys are out here, why you're selling me a new roof. So, those things really personalize that proposal and make it stand out even that much more than just having all of this, all these great bells and whistles in there as well.
Yeah, it made it super simple. Like the customizable, you just saw me jump into Google Maps, take a quick screenshot of that, and I'm able to upload it right in there, right there. That's perfect. And we can do that there. The other cool option is real estate websites have the best photos. Like it's like a professional photographer there, all the cool angles. You can get something really, really good from there as well and upload it, and making the cover image look that good. You could also choose from some of the stock ones, different layouts, really try and change up your process, really blow these people away and have them just kind of jaw drop, just like, I can't believe this person did this for me, because now they're going to look at you as not just a professional, but someone who's like an authority figure, someone that's going to really break this all down for us. And you could see, in your dashboard now, you could see all the different options. Here's a really cool one that I did a while back. You can see kind of track whether it's been signed, whether it's been viewed, all that stuff. This is a really cool one that I opened up that shows a nice image of the front of the home right off the bat. So imagine you're that customer and everybody's giving you those paper quotes or those glorified Excel sheets, as you put it. And then you come in with something that looks like this. If my computer would speed up a little bit there, a beautiful breakdown, your logo up here, a picture of their home right there. They're going to just be confused almost. They're like, I can't believe that a roofer is able to provide that with roofr.com. That's something that you can do. Really change it up there.
So let's take the last couple of minutes, Nick, and just talk briefly about, like, just kind of touch on the fact that, I mentioned earlier, this platform is night and day from what it was even in May when we released it, right? Our tech team does a phenomenal job of adding features, of continuing to make this product more and more robust. Let's talk about 2022 and what we got coming. Let's just kind of hint at, what are some things that we can expect to see or hope to see here in the upcoming months as part of this product.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited about these ones coming out, and I know that you're really excited too. We got a couple really cool features coming out soon. One of which being integration. So we'll have a open API source that you could link into your CRM. So a lot of people out there have been asking, I want to be able to track stuff in my CRM as well. That's great. And what we always suggest is we're not trying to replace your CRM. We're trying to add to it. Now we could literally add to it with an integration there. And you come from the CRM world, right, Pete? So you have a lot of history with that.
Yeah, a big part of it there. And one thing that I want to touch on that I think is a sore spot for a lot of contractors. I think if you've ever been in a situation where you've gotten on a CRM and had to change CRMs for whatever reason, maybe you've outgrown that CRM, maybe you've run into a situation where that CRM didn't have the features that you'd hoped, whatever the case may be. I think we've all been there where we've had to make a CRM switch. And it was an interesting conversation. I was talking with Aaron Trujillo. He's from A True Consulting, and he's a CRM guru. I mean, he is like the authority on CRMs. And he said something that really really struck a chord with me, in that, you get on these CRMs and then you make a change, which so many of us have done, right? And what happens to all your information, right? Where does everything go? We know that most CRMs allow you to easily move your contacts, but when it comes to the nitty gritty stuff like your photos and your contracts, that's a manual process, and that's a big headache and can be extremely time consuming and altogether extremely frustrating to have to deal with. So what better way than to use an outside source, right? Like a roofer. All my proposals are stored in there. And if, God forbid, I ever have to go and make a CRM change, I can just hit the ground running, right? And with this new integration piece that we'll have, you'll be able to just link your roofer to your CRM and be able to just start feeding that information over immediately, right? So rather than being in a situation where I've got all my information more or less held hostage in my CRM, now I've got it in this outside source. My sales team's got all their information. We make a quick switch, and we're able to link this up and just run with it, and it's not a situation where like I'm having to sacrifice information or spend a ton of time and money to migrate that information over. So, this obviously for me, coming from a CRM background, is a huge piece, right? It's really exciting for me to see us have that capability, but also be a solution in a way to that situation that is, I know a huge problem for a lot of people when they're making that decision to possibly switch products is, am I going to lose my information? And I don't want to lose that information. Like, I want to be able to hold on to it. I mean, I know guys that have 2 CRMs, right? Like, they actually have the CRM they use and the CRM they used to use. They're still active in it because they just didn't want to give up the information, and now you can move away from that by using an outside tool like ours to store your most precious information. Your photos are in here for the jobs, your proposals are in here, your measurements are in here. So all the things you need to maybe go out and requote this job. Let's say you're an insurance guy and this house gets hit by hail 2-3 times a year, and you've changed, CRMs in the off season. You didn't lose any of that information. You can just go right back to that quote, right back to that measurement, requote that house, and you're ready to hit the ground running. So, that's a huge, huge piece And I think it holds more weight than a lot of people even consider. And it really struck a chord with me, knowing how hard of a time contractors have had with that specific part of the process in the past. Is take that information, take your crucial stuff, use a third party service that just integrates with your CRM, keep all that vital information over there. And then if the situation ever presents itself for whatever reason that you do have to make that change, you don't lose anything.
Yeah, and it's a great point. You want to have it all in one spot, centralize. You protecting your data. Security is a big issue nowadays too. So you want to make sure that it's all in one spot. You got that here. The other thing that's coming out too, and you asked and you shall receive, is Teams. Teams will be coming out shortly as well, and that's going to really help out with building out your office with multiple sales people, with product people on there, and really streamlining it all under one umbrella, making sure that everything's right there. And I see that we got a question here from Luch. Luch, nice to hear from you, buddy. Yes, we do have options for that right now. Nothing like specifically that is for maintenance, but a good option to really look at is that, and I know that Luch, you do utilize the DIY tool there, but something that you want to do for, let's just quickly show that as we go, is you could just trace out an area, create a catalog item for maintenance or service, and have that there and send it out to the person. And you could resend it out every couple months. You could have an agreement on month to month, 6 months, a year, so on, with the multi option, and you can see what they selected. So if I just use this, 9 Stadium Road, you could really just kind of map out an area that you do need to measure, and take a look at it, and have a maintenance price built in, and you can have extra options for repairs, etc., for it all there. So it's something really, really easy that you can build out. And for everybody who's commercial roofers here, like Luch's, you could just measure out a certain area and say maintenance on the top area here is X amount of dollars. So there we are. We have the square footage here. My computer's lagging, so facets 012. And you know you're dealing with around 74 square of it, and then add that into a mapping feature there as well. But Pete, anything else that you want to add in?
No, I mean, I think the Teams thing is great, especially it ties back to what we talked about early on in the fact of, you're looking for a platform here. If you're looking to make a switch in the off season, you want a platform that's going to grow with you. And that feature right there alone is going to be a huge piece that's going to allow my business to grow inside of Roofr. As I build my sales team, I can continue to add people to my team and my team in Roofr, and just take advantage of our team here at Roofr to get those guys trained up and get them using the product the most effective way possible. And one of the things that I like to hint at, or like to talk to, contractors about is, take advantage of us. Nick and I are on the phone with roofers all day. Matt is on the phone with roofers all day. We get kind of an inside glimpse into everybody's business and how they're doing things and how things work and how things don't work, what's worked and what's failed. And, and sometimes maybe have some insight into a more efficient way or a better way, or, just something that maybe you haven't even considered, that we can make a suggestion on. So, take advantage of our team here, very knowledgeable in that regard. And, feel free to utilize us however you need to, as more or less business consultants, right? How can we help you guys in 2022 get to where you want to go, right? Like, maybe 2021, you didn't get all the results you wanted. Ask us, what can we do in 2022 to better quote, to have a better presence, whatever the case may be, and let us help you out.
That's a great thing to mention. Like, with a subscription, you get access to your CSM team, which is our customer success team. And between the sales, the customer success, we talk to roofers all day from all across North America. And we're helping them out with different features and stuff like that. And if we hear something that's interesting that might be able to apply to you, That's a really good point, Pete. We're able to kind of give you that little insight, that business trick. Like, hey, I know that Bob at Bob's Roofing in South Florida is doing this. Why don't you try doing this on your end? He seems to be very successful with that. Great. You may be in California. You're in Walnut Creek, California, and this guy's in West Palm Beach, Florida. We're able to really kind of jive that there and help you out and grow your company. So take advantage of us. Take advantage of the fact that with your subscription comes a onboarding with a customer success manager whose job is for you to succeed. Hence the title, customer success. We're there for you the entire way.
Yeah, I really appreciate everybody for taking the time with us today. If you do have any other questions, feel free to reach out to anybody on the team, Nick, myself, Matt, any of our other sales guys. If you're an active subscriber, jump on with your CSM, take advantage of us fully, right? use us as one of your tools in the tool bag here. That's really what we're here for. So again, I appreciate it, Nick. Thanks for jumping on with me again and knocking out another masterclass here, and Matt for manning the chat. And we will see you guys again real soon. Thanks, everybody.
Guys. Thanks.